Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to look at how to draw a force diagram. So, what is a force diagram? So, a force diagram shows you all the forces acting on objects. And we usually do this by using arrows pointing at the direction in which the force acts. And we can use a force diagram to help us to model problems involving forces. So let's look at question 1. So a block of weight W is being pulled to the right by a force P across a rough horizontal plane. Draw a force diagram to show all the forces acting on the block. So I'm going to start with drawing a block representing the weight of W. So we are asked to draw a force diagram for a block. So start by drawing a block, just a right angle. So here is my block. So just read through the question. So a block of weight W. So we know when it's weight, this means the weight is pulling down and the weight is W. Then we are told that there is a force of P pulling to the right. So this is my right, and we have a force of P pulling right. Then remember, there is an opposite reaction. We call this the normal reaction of a rough horizontal plane. So if you forgot about this, look back at our first lesson. So diagram. So this is our reaction. And then remember, this side is on a rough horizontal plane. So when it's rough, we have a force which is, we call it friction, because it's a rough surface, so we produce a friction, which is a resistance force, and this is pulling it backward. And remember, it's on a rough surface. Can just draw a line here. So now we have to draw a force diagram to show all the forces acting on the block. So we have weight pulling down, and a force of P pulling to the right, and because it's on a rough surface, so it's pulling backward by the friction. And remember, there is an opposite reaction to weight. So going down is weight, so going up is normal reaction. So let's look at Newton's first law of motion. So this tells us when the object is at rest, it will stay at rest. And when the object is moving with constant velocity, it will continue to move with constant velocity. So if we remember from the previous lesson, constant velocity means it's traveling at the same speed and in the same direction. So those will only be affected when there is a new unbalanced force acting on the object. Then we're going to look at what is a resistant force. So a resistant force acting on the object will cause the object to accelerate in the same direction as the resultant force. So what is a resultant force? A resultant force is so when there is more than one force acting on the object, you can resolve the force in certain direction to find out the resultant force in that direction. So let's look at a question, so that would make more sense. So we have a diagram which is drawn. So we have going to the right 20 newtons, going to the left 20 newtons. So what does this mean? It means that the object is not moving to the right or is not moving to the left, because the horizontal force are balanced. So let's note here. So the horizontal force is 20, which is positive to the right, and 20 going this direction and 20 negative going to the other direction. So it's 0, so it's not moving right or left. Then we're going to look at the vertical force. So we have 30 going up, then 10 going down, which is 20. So we know that it's going to be a 20 going up. So we have a particle, and the resultant force is going up by 20 newtons. So this is what a resultant force diagram. So the resultant force telling us which direction is the object traveling. And from the definition before, so what is the motion of the particle? And the particle is accelerating upward.